while millions of people are screaming at their TVs, painting their faces, and riding an emotional roller coaster because a group of athletes won or lost a game. There's another massive group of people who simply don't care. Not a little bit, not secretly, just nothing. The score changes, the crowd erupts, friends celebrate or collapse in frustration, and they feel absolutely no emotional shift. Before we go further, comment where you're watching from and tell me honestly, do you care about sports or do you completely ignore them? Because this divide is far more common than people realize. In the United States alone, surveys show that well over half of adults actively follow sports. Entire weekends revolve around games. Cities celebrate championships like historical events. Fans wear team colors like symbols of identity. But for the other group, it all feels strangely distant. They understand that something exciting is happening for other people. They just don't feel the excitement themselves. And the reason isn't simply personality, it's psychology. To understand why sports affect people so differently, you have to start with something deeply human: tribes. For most of human history, survival depended on belonging to a group. Your tribe protected you. Your tribe hunted with you. Your tribe defended territory. Your tribe helped raise children. If you were separated from your group, survival became much harder. Because of that, human brains evolved to treat group identity as extremely important. Belonging feels good. Threats to your group feel personal. Victories for your group feel like your own victories. Sports taps directly into that ancient psychological system. When someone watches their team compete, the brain begins processing the game as if their group is facing another group. Researchers studying sports fans have found something fascinating. When their team wins, fans show increased activity in the brain's reward centers. Areas associated with dopamine and positive reinforcement light up. But when their team loses, areas associated with pain and disappointment activate. In other words, their brain is reacting as if something personal just happened, even though the fan had no direct role in the game. This is where something called Basking comes in. It stands for basking in reflected glory. It's the psychological habit of sharing in the success of a group you're connected to. You've probably heard it before. After a win, fans say things like, "We crushed them. We dominated. We're going to the championship." But after a loss, the language changes. They played badly. They blew it. They lost. Notice the shift. Victory becomes shared identity. Failure becomes distance. That subtle change in language reveals something important. For many sports fans, the team becomes an extension of identity. When the team succeeds, it boosts the fan's sense of belonging and pride. When the team fails, the brain protects itself by creating distance. But here's where the story gets interesting. Not everyone's brain responds to sports this way. Some people simply do not connect their identity to competitive spectator activities. For them, watching strangers compete does not activate that tribal system. They can appreciate the skill. They can understand why others care. But their brain never fully engages in the emotional investment. Psychologists sometimes describe this difference as variation in tribal identity strength. Some people naturally tie their sense of belonging to groups. Others feel less psychological need for that connection. Neither one is better. They are simply different orientations. People with strong tribal instincts often enjoy activities where groups compete. Sports, politics, team-based competition, even online communities. People with weaker tribal instincts often focus more on individual identity. Their sense of purpose and meaning comes from personal goals, creativity, relationships, or intellectual exploration rather than group affiliation. This difference alone explains a surprising amount of the sports divide. But there's another layer: dopamine. The brain's reward system responds strongly to anticipation, not just rewards themselves. The possibility of reward. Sports are built around this mechanism. Every possession, every play, every near miss, every unexpected comeback. The outcome is uncertain, and uncertainty is extremely powerful for the brain. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's the same reward pattern used in gambling systems like slot machines. You don't know when the reward will come, so your brain stays alert, waiting, watching, anticipating. Each moment of possibility triggers small dopamine responses. That's why close games feel especially exciting to fans. The brain stays engaged the entire time. But for someone who doesn't care about sports, this dopamine system simply isn't triggered in the same way. The plays feel repetitive. The stakes feel artificial. The anticipation never becomes emotionally meaningful, so the reward system stays quiet. Without that reward loop, the brain quickly categorizes the activity as low priority, which is why a sports game that fascinates one person for 3 hours might feel completely uninteresting to someone else. To them, it's just people moving a ball back and forth. But the psychology of sports interest goes even deeper. Some researchers believe personality traits influence how much people enjoy spectator competition. For example, studies have found that people who score higher in openness to experience, a trait associated with curiosity, creativity, and intellectual exploration, are slightly less likely to be heavily invested in sports fandom. That doesn't mean they dislike competition. It means their curiosity tends to be directed toward different experiences: art, music, ideas, travel, creative expression, scientific discovery. Their emotional highs come from different sources. Sports fans often experience emotional intensity through narrative competition: the underdog story, the comeback, the rivalry, the championship run. Non-sports fans often experience emotional intensity through other narratives: a novel, a film, a meaningful conversation, a creative project, a personal challenge. The brain still seeks excitement. It simply finds it in different environments. Another interesting difference appears in something called empathy allocation. Humans have limited emotional bandwidth. You cannot deeply care about everything equally. So the brain distributes emotional investment based on personal priorities. Sports fans often direct strong empathy toward teams and athletes. They feel the tension of the game. They experience the highs and lows. They celebrate victories and feel losses intensely. Non-sports fans often allocate empathy differently: toward personal relationships, toward causes, toward creative or intellectual pursuits, toward real-life situations where their involvement can influence the outcome. It's not that they lack empathy. They simply invested in places where they feel more direct connection. Another factor that shapes sports interest is personal experience. For some people, sports represent community, childhood memories, family traditions, watching games with parents, playing on teams, shared rituals with friends. Those emotional associations create lasting connections. But for others, sports environments were not positive. Maybe they felt excluded during school athletics. Maybe competitive environments created stress rather than joy. Maybe sports culture simply never resonated with their personality. In those cases, the brain forms very different associations. Instead of belonging, sports might represent pressure or disinterest. And once the brain categorizes an activity as emotionally irrelevant, it rarely changes that judgment easily. This is why sports fans and non-sports fans sometimes struggle to understand each other. For fans, the excitement feels obvious. The tension, the loyalty, the shared celebration, it feels meaningful. For non-fans, the emotional investment can feel puzzling. They may think, why would I care about an outcome I cannot influence? Why invest hours in a game played by strangers? Why attach my mood to something outside my control? Both perspectives are logical. They just come from different psychological frameworks. Sports fans experience meaning through shared narrative and tribal identity. Non-sports fans often experience meaning through personal engagement and individual pursuits. Both satisfy the same human needs: belonging, excitement, purpose, connection. They simply reach those experiences through different paths. Interestingly, research also suggests that people who don't follow sports sometimes report feeling more present in their own daily experiences. Instead of investing emotional energy in spectator events, they direct attention toward their own projects, hobbies, or relationships. That doesn't make them more productive or more meaningful. It just means their attention is focused differently. The human brain has many ways of seeking engagement. Competition, creativity, community, exploration, achievement, meaning. Sports is only one of many outlets for those instincts, and once you recognize that, something important becomes clear. Not caring about sports isn't unusual. It's simply another configuration of human psychology. Your brain may still crave excitement, but it might find that excitement in a book instead of a game, in an idea instead of a rivalry, in a personal challenge instead of a scoreboard. And that difference is perfectly normal, because human behavior often looks confusing until you understand the psychological systems underneath it. So the next time someone asks you if you watched the game, and you honestly couldn't care less, remember something. Your brain isn't missing a feature. It's just wired to find meaning somewhere else. And once you start seeing that clearly, it begins to connect to how people choose where to place their attention and identity in ways most never question. And that's where a deeper pattern starts to emerge that most people don't fully recognize.